Shannon, you think Gruden will draft Kyler Murray?
I think he's leaning that way, Skip, but that's an awful lot of information for someone. They don't normally tip their hand that much.
No, that's true.
But Jon Gruden is absolutely right, Skip. Normally for the quarterback, you want him prototypical, somewhere between 6'3", 6'4". Let's start with that. Be somewhere between 235, 250 pounds. Big kid, nice size hands, especially if you're going to play outside in the elements.
Yep.
But, Skip, there was a time that if you were black, you wouldn't thought of as a quarterback.
That is correct.
You could play any position on the offensive line if you were black, but you couldn't play center because those guys had to make all the line calls.
True.
So there's a lot, the way we think and the way we evaluate players now is different than as time evolved. Your thinking also has to evolve. And so, right, Drew Brees having the level, he's the all-time leading passer in NFL history, and he's barely 6 foot tall. He's won a Super Bowl. Russell Wilson has gone to 2 Super Bowls, won one. Another, barely 6 foot tall, having success. So now it makes it easier. It's not a reach. The hardest thing is to be the first guy to take that guy that's under 6 feet. Now, Kyler Murray is really pushing those limits. You're talking about somebody 5'8.5", 5'9". 6 foot is one thing, Skip, 5'11.5". But now you're talking about not 5'10", you're talking about 5'8.5", 5'9". You're talking about 2 feet, 2 inches, 3 inches, under 6 feet. Can the guy play? At the end of the day, now they're evaluating guys on whether or not he can play. And if he can play, what position does he play? And we're going to let him see what he can do with our team. Guys are not, team evaluators are not making that mistake. Well, we love him at quarterback. Man, if he was just another inch taller, he was 2 inches taller, we love him at this position. But if he was just this, can he play? Ozzie Newsome, one of the great general managers of all time, probably should go in the Hall of Fame as an executive, Skip, because you draft 4 Hall of Famers, you're doing something right. And I said, Ozzie, how is it that you're able to get these guys right? He said, I believe what my eyes tell me. He said, Suggs, somebody got those 24.5 sacks, Skip. He said, the dude had on track shoes with no shirt on and track pants and ran 4.9. But somebody could bend the corner.
I know.
When you look at him on tape, hopefully the combine evaluation that further gives you information. Okay, yeah, he is explosive. He's strong as I thought. He's fast as I thought. He's quick as I thought. But there's nothing like game tape. Can he play? And from the game tape, when you cut that on, you're going to see a guy that's I don't care if he's 5'6". He won the Heisman Trophy as the collegiate's best player in a Power 5 conference. That's all I know.
And his predecessor is not too tall himself, and he did pretty well as a rookie in the National Football League. I'm talking about Baker Mayfield.
Most touchdown passes ever for a rookie quarterback. He didn't start 3 games.
Kyler Murray can play. He can play pro football at 5'9.5" or whatever he is. I know Jon Gruden pretty well. I covered Jon Gruden in his first go-round with the Oakland Raiders when they became very successful. And I do not want to see Kyler Murray go to Jon Gruden. It would be an awful fit for Kyler Murray because Jon Gruden is tough on quarterbacks.
He's old school.
To go from Lincoln Riley's comfort zone to Jon Gruden's pressure cooker would not be right for Kyler Murray. I'm not sure he would thrive under the fire that is Jon Gruden, because remember what Jon Gruden was in college, the University of Dayton. He was a 5', 10-inch backup quarterback who didn't see a lot of action.
Right.
So he's a frustrated quarterback himself, and he asks an awful lot of his quarterback, and he is extremely critical of his quarterback during the game.
Are you saying he asked the quarterback to do things he couldn't do?
Yeah, things he dreamed of doing. So when you gave him a veteran journeyman, Rich Gannon, Rich Gannon was really good because Rich Gannon would say, you know, like he'd go right back at him.
They're the same age. Actually, Gannon might have been older.
Yep. And then he went and inherited all that Tony Dungy talent, especially Derek Brooks' defense. But he had old Brad Johnson, just another old wily veteran who would give it right back to Jon Gruden. Kyler Murray will not be able to give it right back to Jon Gruden. I don't think so. And I watched Jon fall in love with Johnny Manziel because he said publicly, told me on the air, I would take Johnny Manziel with the first overall pick if I were the Houston Texans. Remember that draft?
Yep. The David Clowney draft.
Yep. And he dug in on that, and he might have been right if Johnny hadn't had lots of off-the-field problems.
Right.
But we'll never know about that.
Right.
But he did fall in love with that little, what was Johnny in the end, 5'11"-ish?
5'11",
Yeah,
5'11", 3/4.
Yeah, I
something
think
like
it
that.
was.
Yeah.
That's like significantly bigger than
True.
Kyler Murray.
That's 2
right?
inches.
Yeah, that's
2 inches, Jenny.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I'm
a
gonna
lot.
pull some photos.
I know you eyeball to eyeball.
Mm.
And you know,
Yep.
you took your heels off to stand there. This is what we know, Skip. Somebody's going to put all their eggs in Kyler Murray's basket.
Somebody will.
And hope they don't trip on the way to the market.
Yeah, nope, you're right about that. Because he is really pushing the limits of the height.
Yes.
Can you see? Well, all I saw with my 2 eyes at the University of Oklahoma, he had no vision problems. He wasn't getting any balls batted at the line of scrimmage. He can create throwing lanes because he can really
You have to
move.
play him in the shotgun.
Yeah, maybe.
Can't put him
Pass
under
your eye
center.
You know what? You're right.